Have you ever thought that someone loved you, but stayed silent? Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and heard something they didn't dare say? Sometimes silence screams, and sometimes love hides in plain sight. In hesitation, in distraction, in all the ways someone doesn't show up directly, but never quite leaves either. Carl Jung said, "What is not made conscious comes back as fate." And maybe that's what you're living now, not a romance, but a psychic mirror. This isn't a story about what's said. It's a story about what's buried, a love that exists but cannot yet breathe. These are the 8 things an avoidant does when they're secretly in love with you. They remember what you forget. He won't say, "I love you." He might not even admit it to himself, but somehow, he remembers the name of your childhood dog, the exact way you take your coffee, the look on your face when you're overwhelmed but pretending not to be. You don't recall telling him some of these things, but he does. Jung taught us, the unconscious never lies. What matters to the heart will find a way to be noticed, to be held. And what he holds is you. Not loudly, not obviously, but precisely, because people forget what they hear. They remember what they feel. And you moved something in him he cannot name. He shows up in crisis, but disappears in calm. When everything's fine, he's nowhere, distant, hard to reach. But when your world falls apart, he's suddenly there, quiet, present, steady. Why? Because chaos gives him a role, a purpose, a way to love you, without calling it love. He doesn't know how to say, "I miss you," but he'll drive through the night to bring you your favorite food when your heart breaks. Avoidants are terrified of emotional intimacy, but not of being useful. In your suffering, he feels safe to serve, to care, to be near. It's a paradox, and it's real. He reacts to jealousy. He pretends not to feel. You mention a man. He shrugs, smiles, changes the subject, but his jaw clenches, his tone shifts. He goes a little quiet, just a little too quickly. He won't admit to jealousy, but he'll reveal it anyway, because the body speaks what the ego cannot. And behind the performance of indifference is a boy afraid of being replaced. No one gets jealous over something they don't care about. Not truly, not subconsciously. The fear of loss is the most honest proof of desire. His gaze lingers, then retreats. There's a kind of look, not casual, not flirtatious, but deep, penetrating, uncomfortable in its intensity. He stares just a second too long, then looks away, like he got caught, because he did. Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart." But for the avoidant man, looking at you is looking into a mirror he's not ready to face. So he gazes, then vanishes into himself. And in that flicker of intensity, his entire internal war is visible. Love, fear, desire, panic, all contained in one glance. He prays, "You didn't notice, but you did." And that was the moment it became real. He shares his dreams, and you're in them. He talks about the future vaguely, quietly, without saying, "You and me." But listen closely. There's a house, a peaceful life, a coffee shop that happens to be your style, a dog with the breed you once said you love. He doesn't say, "I want this with you," but you're in every scene. This is not coincidence. It's confession, through symbols. The psyche, Jung told us, speaks in symbols when it cannot speak in words. And his future plans carry your name in invisible ink. He becomes a different man around you, not radically, not like a performance, but subtly. His voice softens, his edges blur, the armor melts. He becomes gentler, as if your presence offers sanctuary, as if some part of him finally exhaled. You see him laugh in ways he never laughs with others. You see him stay present, even when nothing's happening. That's not by accident. That's not just comfort. That's a soul recognizing something sacred in simply being seen. You don't transform a man like that unless you matter more than he's willing to admit. He listens differently, not the way people listen to be polite. He listens like you're a language he wants to learn. He remembers things you didn't even realize you said. He references moments you forgot happened. Why? Because you have become a symbol nested deep in his unconscious. Jung said that whatever touches us deeply nests in our unconscious. And he's been touched, irrevocably, even if he doesn't speak of it. You're not background noise to him. You're an echo that keeps ringing long after the moment has passed. That's love, the kind that doesn't just hear, but absorbs. He reveals vulnerability without realizing it, not with grand dramatic gestures, but in the pauses, the long sighs, the shaky hands, the "I'm fine" that isn't. You see the crack in his voice when you ask how he's really doing. You catch the sadness he never mentions. And he lets you see it, not because he wants to, but because he trusts you more than he understands. He's afraid, he's guarded, but you disarm him, not with force, with presence, with the safety of your non-judgment. Jung said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And sometimes in your presence, he almost does. That is sacred. That is love. So here we are, not with declarations, not with confessions, but with something deeper. He hasn't said, "I love you." He may never say it. But every time he remembers what matters to you, every time he listens when no one else does, every time he gazes like he's seen a ghost of something he lost, every time he reacts to the thought of losing you, he's telling you the truth his mouth cannot form. This is not a game, not a mystery to solve. It is a man at war with what he feels and what he fears. Love for the avoidant is not a doorway, it's a labyrinth. Every step forward is met with ghosts from the past. Every heartbeat feels like a risk, but still, he feels. And feeling, despite the fear, is the most honest kind of love there is. So when you wonder if he loves you, don't just listen to his words. Watch how he disappears and still returns. Watch how he forgets everyone, except you. Watch how he hides everything, except the truth his silence can't hold back anymore. That's the truth. That's the map. That's the love story he doesn't yet know how to tell. But he's living it. With you. Even if he calls it something else. If this touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, love that's hidden is still love. It just hasn't found the courage to speak yet.